Speaker in the open debate.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer, and I will do as I'm told. Presiding Officer, I generally am pleased to be speaking in this debate to discuss one of the most pertinent issues of our time, and that's climate change. Few reasonable people could actually genuinely argue that climate change is not something that requires immediate attention. However, unfortunately, around the world, we do see people making baseless arguments to fit their own political agenda. Nothing has highlighted this more than President Trump pulling America out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, it would be easy to stand here and criticise instances around the world of policymakers or leading businesses, people denying or ignoring the extent of the environmental crisis facing our planet. However, we can only directly control what we do here in Scotland and through this Scottish Parliament. And I believe that we generally are making positive strides forward, but there is still more to do. The report in front of us from the committee I very much welcome, and there was a bit certainly in the exec summary that I thought was extremely accurate, and that was this aspect, this quote, and it was climate change is an intergenerational justice issue, and the committee believes we need to act now to help future generations inherit a world that is sustainable. Now, I don't think anyone can argue with that. Now, it's only within the last 20 years or so that I can really remember anyone talking about recycling. Now, 20 years ago, everything seemed to go to the same bin. It went to a landfill. And the recent BBC documentary about waste dug up a site previously used for landfill in the 1970s. Plastic items and clothing had not degraded at all. Now, the onus is on us all, not just to recycle, but to reuse. Now, we do live in a materialistic and disposable society. Instead of continuing to use older items that begin to show their age, unfortunately, we bin them and buy something new. Now, in 1985, I studied in Germany. I studied in Dortmund, and I learned a lot about my time studying there, but certainly it was the first place I actually went to recycling actually took place, whether it was glass, whether it was newspapers, or plastic. And when I came back home, that just did not exist in Inverclyde and certainly in Scotland. Now, the price of many items of clothing these days, it makes the process so easy and affordable just to ditch it. However, continuing to transport these vast quantities of products to Scotland comes also at an environmental cost. Now, many of these items come from the Far East, from countries like China, Vietnam and Thailand, and to import items from these countries across the oceans has a massive environmental impact, and we are all guilty as we do consume these products. Now, across Scotland in 2017, for the first time, we actually recycled more than we sent to landfill. Now, I think that is progress, and I welcome that, but at the same time, it's taken a long, long time to actually get to that point. Now, I think it's very fitting that in the same week, the Scottish Parliament debates both climate change and also transport, as both intrinsically are linked. Now, last year we saw rail travel increase yet again. However, disappointingly, we've seen a drop in bus travel. This Scottish Government has doubled its investment in infrastructure to support cycling and is also working to increase charging points for electric cars. Now, so at this point, I want to touch upon something that's regarded in the IPCC report, where it touches upon all businesses and individuals have actually got a part to play. Now, I generally welcome an announcement last week from a business in my constituency, it's McGill's Buses. They've invested a further £4.75 million on 26 new buses, meeting the new ULEV standards. That's a £24 million investment over the course of the last 5 years to actually improve their environmental impact. Now, this touches upon a point regarding Mr Burnett. Unfortunately, couldn't take my intervention earlier, but it's crucial that actually everybody has that part to play. And Mr Carson, even vegans, they've got their part to play as well, which unfortunately you had, I will defend my Green colleague here, because it was unfortunate the way he actually responded to him earlier. I generally thought that it was an unfair attack on him. Now, Presiding Officer, I genuinely think this climate change bill means that Scotland will actually have the toughest climate change legislation in the world. Nowhere else in the world has any nation committed to targets as ambitious as Scotland. And that is testament to the determination of this Scottish Government. Now, by 2030, Scotland will cut emissions by 2/3, and unlike other nations, we will not use carbon offsetting where other countries are paid to cut emissions for us to actually achieve our goal, and I very much welcome that. The Scottish Government is also said it will go even further if the UK Committee on Climate Change advises that a more ambitious target is now feasible. And the Cabinet Secretary mentioned that in her opening comments. And I very much welcome that again. Now, the bill maintains annual targets, meaning the Scottish Government can be held to account for progress every year. No other country has that. Most other countries with domestic climate change targets have interim targets for 2020 and or 2030 only. Now, this is where I do not think for 1 minute MSPs, the public, are actually shy at challenging government and politicians. They never have been and they never will be, and I very much welcome that. And I too want to thank all the younger people who have certainly in the chamber today, but also who are really pushing this agenda for our nation. And my final point, Presiding Officer, just to conclude, I genuinely believe that every generation needs to leave the planet in a better way than it was actually handed over to them. We don't own the planet. We are merely custodians of it in our time here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.